Hello, everybody. I'm Chuck Wiger, Area State Senator, and today I'm very pleased to have with me Florence Sprague with the League of Women Voters. Welcome, Florence.
Thank you, Chuck. It's nice to be here.
And the League of Women Voters, of course, has various chapters throughout the state and beyond, and I'm very pleased that we have a very active chapters in the Maplewood area, with the Roseville, and this actually is called the Roseville Area Chamber, and we have some information, and we'll have more on that in terms of the website. The White Bear area additionally has active League of Women Voters. So
yes, it does.
A lot of the common things that you do. So tell us about the League first, just overall.
Okay. The League of Women Voters was founded in 1920, and it grew out of the women's suffrage movement. And we've been active ever since, though sometimes our activities will change. We're organized on the local, state, and national level. And then here in the Twin Cities, we have an extra level to cover the special level of government for the Metropolitan Council. Okay. And where most people are active is their local league. Mm-hmm. And the Roseville Area League covers basically the first tier of suburbs around St. Paul to the north and around that eastern corner.
And the bottom line, like your button suggests, making democracy work.
That's right.
It's like the mission.
Our mission is to encourage an informed and active citizenship and electorate so that we do activities that help people stay informed, like our local candidate forums. Mm-hmm. We do public forums on issues, but we never endorse candidates or mm-hmm. parties.
Right.
It's always nonpartisan.
And on one item, too, it was born out of the suffrage movement mm-hmm. nearly 100 years ago, and something that we should never, ever forget, and the importance of voting, that everyone have access, something that people in other nations may not have. And it's called the League of Women Voters, but men may also join.
Yes, I don't know when we began accepting male members, but we do have men who are members, and we welcome them all, because really we don't want to change our name because there's a lot of history behind it.
Yes.
And a lot of name recognition in the community, but we welcome everyone.
Okay. So in making democracy work, you mentioned some of the activities, but let's highlight some of the more recent things that you've been involved in, and then how the public can get further engaged if they want.
Okay. And one thing we do is voter registration drives.
Yes.
This year we had voter registration drives in high schools, in residences, senior residences, in apartment complexes, at our forums. We also go to naturalization ceremonies so that new citizens get registered and are able to participate as soon as they become citizens. So that's a big push. I think they had 18 different locations this year where our local league did it, and other leagues were other places in the state. So that's a very important part of our mission.
And Minnesota, even in the recent off year, or in terms of midterm elections, led the nation in participation. And in part, we can thank the league for mm-hmm. efforts, registering voters.
Mm-hmm. We try to have activities to help the voters find information, both on the local website and then the state league has a website that will help people link them up to the Secretary of State's office to find where their polling place is and where they can find more information about candidates.
Are people confused in terms of registering to vote, or is it just a matter of telling them you're eligible and then they will sign up? Do you get much pushback on that or hesitation?
It's interesting. Most people there is not a lot of hesitation. Occasionally you find people who say, why bother? It doesn't matter. My vote doesn't matter. And as we've seen just locally this year, both in Maplewood and other places in the state of Minnesota, every vote counts. Yes. Things have been very close in local elections. And so it's important to remember your vote does matter, and that your vote matters even if your candidate doesn't win. That we need to know really where people stand, and it's a way of communicating with your legislators.
Okay. So encouraging people to register, and then mm-hmm. providing information in a nonpartisan way about the candidates.
Right.
And I know that you've been involved in in all activities, but in moderating forums. And tell us about what goes into planning a candidate forum, whether it's for the city council, mayor, or legislators. What goes into planning that?
Okay. Well, once the filing deadline for an office has passed, the person organizing that forum would contact all of the registered candidates and try and find a date when they can get a facility that has video capacity. These days, we want to make sure it's not just for the people who attend, but we can put it on cable TV. And then when we can get all the candidates there. We prefer to have as many of the candidates participate as possible.
Yes.
But we don't want the non-participation of an individual to prevent information from getting out.
Yeah.
So if we have 2 of 3 candidates or 3 of 4 candidates, we will proceed and allow anyone who does not attend to send an opening and closing statement that can be read then.
Okay. And fairness is always the mission at these, to provide balanced coverage, and
Right.
You always try to triage the questions in advance, just in case there's something that might be out of line.
Our guidelines that are that all questions should be suitable for all candidates to respond to, and keeping them on the issues, not on personalities.
Okay.
And also, I lost my train of thought there, but. So we wanted all to be, about the topics,
Yes.
getting opinions out there.
So registering voters, informing them about the candidates, and then once the candidates are elected to office, you have position papers too that you will share with the elected officials and others that are interested regarding positions on issues. And so
Right.
there's a number of areas that the league has done a study and had task force groups on a number of topics, and I know you've been involved on these as well. And so maybe a couple of the studies more recently that we could refer to.
Our league, the most recent 2 studies we did in about 2015-16 was the police survey we did, looking at the local police services in all of our communities. We had a panel where all the police chiefs came and spoke, and meetings like that are open not just to the membership but to the general public to come and hear the police chiefs talk and ask questions. So we had our police study, and then the next one was on affordable housing in our communities.
Yes.
But what's available in the various communities, what more is we needed, what are the requirements, what is affordable housing,
Yes.
What are the ways that they can meet these needs, and just trying to help people understand who's going to be using affordable housing and break down barriers to getting everyone to stable housing.
And these recommendations, they're developed in a civil, nonpartisan way, whether it's Democrats, Republicans, independents, or other. But you come up with these recommendations, and then you present them not only to the public to consider, but you'll advocate them in legislative hearings or perhaps before a city council.
Right.
You'll walk the talk.
Right. These positions are, we come up with information, we have discussion, then we have a consensus vote on sort of where do we stand. And sometimes that can get heated depending on the topic.
Yes.
But we want to have something that people have really considered carefully and that we can work from. And then people can choose to represent the league as advocates, not just anybody walking in and saying, "Oh, I'm from the league." You have to be advocating under the position, not your own personal position. But at whatever level of government it is appropriate, at your local or at the state level here.
And this is generally the model that the league would have for its various chapters around the state, if not the country.
Yeah, and it's going to be what makes sense.
Yes.
Locally, we can't take a position on international relations. But nationally, we would. But then it gets complex because you want to consult people in all of the states and have all the league members vote on things. So as you can imagine, that gets complicated.
Okay. So you have regular meetings at the membership, and tell us about becoming a member, and what that would involve, and what a typical meeting might be like.
Okay, well, becoming a member is really easy. You just have to pay your dues and sign up, and you'll be on our mailing list. We're trying to stay up with the times and do a lot more with email, with Facebook, with Twitter, with Instagram.
Yep.
We have a wonderful high school member from Roseville who keeps our
Great.
Twitter account going, and Instagram, and to communicate
That
with
is
the
great.
younger members. For me, this is a real challenge. Email I can handle, but
Yeah.
and
How much is the investment, the membership?
oh gosh, I know
Or
because
maybe
I know that I
different
say that
forms?
because there are different levels.
Okay.
There's a new member level at one, and then a slightly higher. I think the last time I paid dues it was $60 a year,
Okay.
but I think the new member is a little lower.
Yeah, there may be some introductory incentives
And anyone is welcome to come to
Yes.
meetings for a while and decide, is this what I want? We have
Yeah.
monthly meetings,
Okay.
and they're in the evenings, usually Tuesday evenings, but sometimes we have to, for facilities or speakers' needs, meet on a different night.
Yeah.
And we try to have them in reasonably accessible places, like in Roseville they have nice buildings now in some of their parks. In Maplewood there's a new building coming up in one of the parks that's going to be used in the same way.
Maybe by Wakefield?
Yes, Wakefield.
Yes.
That's right. Candidate forums are usually at a city hall
Yes,
in the chambers.
For the cable, yeah.
We're doing more and more things in conjunction with other organizations like the public library.
Yes.
We'll co-sponsor a speaker with the library, and then we'll use their meeting rooms
Good.
at the libraries. We've had some films and speakers that way.
Good. And the website, and I guess for just go to League of Women Voters. You
Yeah,
can
every
Google
level,
that
yep.
and find out about what the local
Yeah.
chapter might be doing for its meetings, position papers.
If you're not sure of your local chapter, you can go to the state, which is easy, lwvmn.org.
One
So
more
to
time.
find lwvmn.org, and you
Great.
can find contact information for the state, and they can tell you where you live, what would be your local league.
Tell us, why did you get involved in the league? And
Oh, I had
when
to-
did that first start?
I have to blame my mother.
Well, good for
My
her.
mother was a league member, though she waited till her children were grown. She was PTA and Girl Scouts and all of these other church
Which
activities.
community then?
I grew up in Ohio.
Okay.
But then when I was the last one, I went off to college. She joined the league, and then instead of doing PTA and Girl Scouts, she was doing the League of Women Voters. And she said, "I think you'd really like this."
Yes.
And she really encouraged me to join. And when we moved to Minnesota, and I didn't have a lot of connections, I found a league unit that at that time still met in the daytime and had childcare.
Okay.
Not anymore. We don't have that anymore. We don't have enough people to support that who are available in the daytime with
Yeah.
little children to support that. Our meetings are now all evening. But I joined through that and made
When did you join it?
Oh,
was it the
19
Maplewood League that you?
It was merged already,
it
so it was
merged,
the
okay.
Roseville area, though
Okay.
it had a different name. But that's at that time. So
Uh,
that was 1985.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
So my little kids went to meetings.
Well, congratulations on that impressive service. And maybe one memory you'd like to share about your various accomplishments
Oh, I don't think of it as so much accomplishments, but
or activities.
yeah,
of engagement,
activities.
or a particular thing that is a fond memory.
Well, I guess one would just be taking the baby and sort of going to a committee meeting, and we'd just be passing the baby around as we'd be talking about things. If whoever was presenting to the group would stand up, and then I'd come, but it was my turn. I had to pass off the baby. It was like, everyone was so very welcoming and supportive, and it was.
Yeah.
When women were not so much in the paid workforce.
Yes.
This was a place they could use their brains, help their communities, and find a lot of interesting things to do and feel productive with.
It's a
now,
great networking group.
it's still true that that you can do that. It's just that people have less time now that
Yeah.
they're working. More of our members are working, though we have a lot of retired members.
Wonderful. And family, you're in Maplewood, but I'd like to just highlight how they're doing.
We have two sons who are now grown. One lives currently in Michigan. He's a physician, an emergency room physician. And our other son lives in Atlanta currently, and he works in business, so it's harder for me to describe what he does. But yeah, we got and one grandchild, yay.
Yes. Well, congratulations, Sarah,
Yeah,
and
thank
all
you.
the activities. And I thank you on behalf of the public for the contributions that the League makes. And I encourage people to become members, to learn more, attend a meeting if they have a chance. And I'm
Yep,
sure
everyone's
everybody has
welcome.
watched one of the debates or programs that you've been involved in, and so it's essential for our democracy. And thanks, it makes democracy work.
Well, and thank you for your participation. It takes all levels. We try
Yes.
to get information out, but we need the voters to participate. We need people to step up and take office. It's not easy, to step up and take office. So take responsibility for things. So thank you too.
Thanks again, Florence Sprague, and congratulations for the League and being a part of Minnesota, again, leading the nation in voter participation, for
Yep.
getting all those registrations one at a time. And again, that is what makes the democracy work. Well done.
Thank you.
Viewers, stay active, and if there's any questions that you or suggestions you'd like to share with me, give me a call. My cell phone is 651-770-0283. Thank you.